Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, almost live. I love this show. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ, and you're listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Welcome. Let me start off by saying, as I always do, that I hope my voice finds you in good health, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not necessarily in that order, but all equally important to help us through this thing we call life. And when you leave this podcast, if you didn't get anything from it, hell, you probably weren't listening. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ, and you are listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Welcome again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we're going to jump right into it. You know, I had a host of things that I wanted to discuss today, and I just want to backtrack. I don't want to be contradictory about some of the things I've said over the past. I've been sitting around, and I'm trying to compile a list of some of my best podcasts. Now, you know, the funny thing is when I started this whole journey, and you've heard me say it before, for you fine people here and around the world that actually listen to LBJ, I just want to say thank you. I remember saying that even if I just got one listener, even if I got one download, I would be excited. That means someone was listening. Well, that number has grown, and I'm very grateful for it. I just actually got a patch, I believe, from my carrier, Podbean. Fantastic people. They've been so good to me. They actually sent me a badge with 5,000 downloads. And, you know, there's a real part of excitement in there. And I'm like, oh, my God, 5,000 people actually listen, which is great. You know, I'm not caught up into the likes and the dislikes. You have your own opinions and your feelings, but it is a nice accomplishment. And just to clarify something, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I says, well, actually, it's like almost 8,000. And they were like, oh, my God. I said, but I'm sure Podbean has a scale of accomplishments, and I got the 5,000 one, but actually it's been about 8,000, and it's just so exciting to have so many people listening. And I also been getting some accolades from a lot of family and friends, and it just goes to show you that, you know, you're doing something and somebody's listening. They don't have to always be right, and that was a conversation I had last night with a family member, and I was trying to explain even to my wife. I says, you know, it's a funny thing because we're living in a world right now where there's so much stuff going on, okay? And I don't have to reiterate anything for you guys. You can understand where I'm coming from. It's all over the place. And what happens is I've always said that I didn't want to get political. I didn't want to, you know, pick a side and or just have anyone put them on the carpet to pick a side. I'm not here to pressure anyone and voicing their opinion or telling me, you know, yay or nay or whatever, because that breeds a little bit of separation. And that's not what this is all about. What I want to do is I want to disseminate some real conversation, some real questions, and get feedback from you guys. That's where I'm at. And I tell you what's been going on in my life. And hopefully you reach out to me, LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth, at gmail.com, and you give me some of your opinions and so forth and so on. I've been at this for a little while now, and here's a funny little question. Someone had said to me, and these are all conversation, and just for anonymity, I don't really drop names. I don't want to embarrass anybody or put them on the spot, but they said, you know, LB, you've been doing this for a while now, so how much money have you made? And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, time is money, and are you making any money? I says, listen, I'm going from the old adage of a film, one of my favorite films, because I have to tell you this, if you want to know and learn a little bit about me. One of my first passions in sports was baseball. And so one of my favorite movies is The Field of Dreams. And I remember the phrase, the catch-all phrase from that film was, if you build it, they will come. So I go by the adage of, if you build it, they will come. So I'm not really focusing on the money. I really not. Listen, now, do we all need money? Yes. I have a Patreon account, The Heartfelt Truth and all that stuff, a shameless plug. But the fact of the matter is, I would much rather have someone listen to me and gain something from it than to beat someone over the head and say, please donate, please subscribe, and so forth and so on. I kind of do that at the end of the podcast, but I don't, that is not my main focus. My main focus is just trying to have a decent conversation, speaking from my heart, keeping it real. And of course, my catchphrase is just another way of looking at things. So with that being said, which is kind of long-winded, I will try not to, I won't cut any of that out. But the fact of the matter is, I had this conversation with a family member just last night, and the whole climate of the world, this whole political circus, I think, that is going on is really amazing. And I'm not going to sit here and start throwing darts at anybody or whatever, but I will tell you this. I watched the celebration the other day, and this gentleman who has just left us, John Lewis. And for it bears repeating. I know some people, they can agree with it, don't agree with it. I will tell you this. This gentleman, he was an icon. I never met him. I've watched his work. I've watched his conversation. I know the history of his life, part of it, and the things that he's accomplished in politics for the general population. See, people get caught up in some of these, these political figures and activists and people that are trying to invoke change as if it's one-sided. And that's not the case. When he was about the people, and that was important to the group in which he belonged, he wanted more. He wanted equality. But it wasn't just, because if he did it just for them, okay, then it would be this whole separatist attitude, but that's not it. He wanted for all people. So anyway, without going off on a tangent, because I totally agree with everything that he stood for. And the one thing that was mentioned in his final service was that he was a human being, just as we all are. We're all human beings. We're all subject to mistakes, and that's how we learn, by making mistakes. If there's one person on this podcast listening, if you send me in an email, if you send me in a donation, tell me that you've gone through your life thus far without any mistakes. Now, and I know we're not talking about school and college, and we've all done that and made mistakes, but I'm saying just in life, have you ever made mistakes? And I can say, yeah, you did. I don't even know you. But my point is, he was a good man. So what I'm trying to get to is this here. So now there were four living presidents that made an appearance, made a comment about this gentleman. And I found that to be so moving. I was impressed. I've always been impressed with the office of presidency, but this was so moving that these gentlemen came in and say something. And it speaks to the time that we're in right now. And see, I don't want to get political, but our present leader right now did not say anything, did not send a letter, didn't do anything. Now, here's another thing. Don't sit here and tell me that everybody that you come across in your life you get along with. Don't tell me that there's kumbaya, everybody in the world is great. That's not the case. We've all had our life experiences. There are people that, listen, I'm going to hit you with something. Ready? Some people try to hide it. Some people don't want to talk about it. And some people sidestep it. There are people that you don't like. And that's okay. Newsflash. There are people that I don't like. you're welcome. But here's the deal. I am not disrespectful. I am not hateful. And for whatever reason, there might be some history or something that has gone on that has brought me to that set of feelings. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to say derogatory, negative, nasty, hateful, none of those things. I just respectfully, you go your way and I go my way. And that's it. So from what I understand, the president and Mr. Lewis didn't get along. They didn't agree on a lot of things, even politically. And so he decided not to, even acknowledge that he was ever here. Because I think that if you do something like that, it acknowledges the fact that you just you weren't even here. It's like, oh, okay, a matter of fact, all right, take care, good luck. And I just found that so distasteful. I will tell you this, though. You had a Democratic president. You had a Republican president. And I was just in awe of the fact that they were so presidential. They preached, love, peace, and harmony if we can get there. I'm not saying that they always agreed on everything. And they openly said that. We didn't always agree. This is my side, that's your side, your house, my house. But we're neighbors. And we have to try to get along somewhere. Because at the end of the day, listen, I just popped in my head. If your neighbors, and this is a little stretch, a little analogy, but if we're living side by side with each other, and if I start throwing stones at your house and you throw stones at my house, next thing you know, somebody throws something and my house goes on fire. Well, guess what? If they don't come to put it out, your house is going on fire too. You get my saying? I don't know. Okay, that's a little crazy. All right, well, we don't want that. So I probably went off a little bit there, but I just wanted to share my sentiment, and I was a little disappointed that our leader did not, acknowledge the fact that this man has done some fine work throughout his life, not only for his community, the African American community, but for all people. It just wasn't one-sided, because then he would be no different than some of the people walking around right now. All right, so with that, moving on, and I always say I'm not going to get political or anything like that, but listen, I don't like myself to be a weatherman. I don't like myself to be a newscaster. But these are the things that you have to pay attention to in your life. These are the things that will confront you, even if you don't want to say nothing and open your mouth, you have to. That's not what this show's all about, but today it is. And, this gentleman will be sorely missed, and I hope that there's someone out there with enough intestinal fortitude that they're willing to, try to step into his shoes. Not that they will fill them, but to step into them and have the courage to take the lumps and bruises that go along with that. So, all right. So, moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a segment of, I was thinking about this. Somebody the other day was talking about your story. Everybody has a story. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them But at the end of the day, everybody has a story. And I think that what you should do, you would be surprised at the abilities that you have. I'm struggling right now to finish two projects that I have, and one of them I've already, I'm caught in between this book that I'm writing, and I really want to put it together. But my point is, everybody has a story. So I challenge you right now to sit down, take some time to yourself, have yourself your nice little beverage. Me, myself, I'm a 2-cup guy. I haven't said that in so long. I used to love saying that. I'm a 2-cup guy, because I am actually, I'm on my second cup. I'm on my second cup of coffee, which is, that's my limit for the day. I do 2 in the morning and I'm good. But I want you to sit down and think about your story. Think about what you want to share with the world. And what I want you to do then is I want you to contact me with your story. And if you're comfortable enough with it, we can share it with the world. I want to put you and your story on my show. So that's something I want you to think about. I want you to write it down. No judgment here. Contact me and we can put it on my show and put you on LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth. Think about, what do you bring to the table for the world? Because I believe that we all have something that we can contribute in this life. I believe that, it was said to me by my last interviewee that, we all have a contract. There is a life contract that we are given, whether you know it or not. Some people eventually come to it and find out that they do have you have a life contract that you have to fulfill, and you need to think about it, perhaps find out what it is, or share whatever gift, whatever it is, and share it with the world. So I challenge you to sit down and do that. Think about your story. Think about what you want to share. Think about what you want to, contribute to this world. And I will tell you this. It doesn't have to be the grand scheme of things. You don't have to, the problem with people is we sit back and we look at other people. We look at other success stories. We look at, this guy, he just came up with an idea and now he's selling rocks. Okay. The bottom line is we can't worry about what other people are doing. You can't, because it was told to me, it takes so much energy when you're looking forward and you have, you got your plan, you got your goal, no matter how sketchy it is and how you're going to do it, you're looking forward. And it takes a lot of energy to look behind, to turn your head around and look and see what the other guy's doing. So you don't need to do that. It takes a lot of energy to turn around, and you lose a little something when it comes to taking care of your own business. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I don't want to go off on a tangent. I don't want to bore anybody, but listen, I challenge you right now to sit down, grab yourself a pencil and a piece of paper, and just jot out a few ideas and think about your story. What do you want to share? What do you want to give to the world? All right, because, from what I've been told, none of us are here forever. None of us are going to, what impact are you going to, you want to leave something, let people know that you were here. Okay. And if you can help somebody, then that's even better. That's my mantra, stick your hand out. That's my deal. So listen to me, as I always say, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. Take care of yourself. Take care of your families, because family is important. And if you see someone that needs a helping hand, stick yours out if you can. Try and help. I believe this one act really, really will make the world a better place. And it's going to be one of those things that help you on your journey to becoming the best person that you were meant to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LBJ. You're there and I'm here. And you've been listening to The Heartfelt Truth. We will talk again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth. I am LBJ. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please reach out for me at lbjtheheartfelttruth@gmail.com. Or check me out on my social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget, please, also, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and, of course, iHeartRadio. And as I always say, take care of yourself. We'll talk again.